الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله.
Actually, part of the Hajj that you shorten your prayers. There's going to be times where you shorten and combine, like Arafat and Muzdalifah. And there's going to be times where you shorten but you do not combine, and those are the days in Mina. Right? Day 8 and then the days of Tashriq, 11, 12, and 13. Alright? So, again, and there's a lot of different places in Muzdalifah. There's really nowhere that's special that you have to go, or anything special that you have to do, besides go there, pray Maghrib and Isha, pray Witr, pray Fajr, right? And pray the Sunnah of Fajr before that, but no other prayers. Make some dhikr, but that night should be used to get some rest. Right? And there's really no place that you have to go, no special place that you have to go to make dua. If you want to make dua, you can make dua wherever you are in Muzdalifah. Right? Anywhere. فإذا أفضتم من عرفات, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام. Right? When you leave Arafah, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala عند المشعر الحرام. And المشعر الحرام, many of the scholars, they'll say that, scholars of tafsir, they say that المشعر الحرام is all of Muzdalifah. Not like a special place in Muzdalifah that only 100 people or 1,000 people can get to. Anyway. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Muzdalifah. Alright? So that's sort of kind of the landscape of Mina and Muzdalifah. In Arafah, the landscape is again, when you get to Arafah on day 9, you're going to go there, you're going to leave Mina, right? Sometime between sunrise and before Dhuhr, right? Most of the time, you'll probably be leaving like around 8, 9 o'clock. The buses will come and you'll head towards Arafah. When you get to Arafah, you'll get to your tents and you'll get situated. Arafah is also huge, right? And in Arafah, you have different places that are very well known in Arafah. Amongst them is Namira, Masjid Namira. And you also have the mountain that is known as Jabal al-Rahmah, right? And you'll see right, where they place the Americans during the day in Arafah is not far from Jabal al-Rahmah, so you might be able to see it. And you'll probably see like a mountain that all these people are climbing and they're making dua and all these things. And that's where the Prophet ﷺ made his khutbah al-wada', right? That's where he gave the farewell sermon. Right? The farewell sermon, he gave it in Arafah, in that place. Yes. But there is no special, there's nothing special about actually like just going there or making a special dua there or anything like that. It just happens to be, again, Arafah is huge, and it's the place where the Prophet ﷺ was. So it could have been Jabal Rahmah or another Jabal. There's nothing special like about that mountain. But you might be able to see it from afar. But my suggestion would be, don't waste your time in Arafah like trying to find the mountain, right? And by the time you get it, you spend 2-3 hours looking for it and you climb it. There's nothing special about that. On that day of Arafah, you want to spend as much time as you can where you are, making dua, making dhikr, reading Quran, doing all of these things. Because it's only for a few hours. There's also a khutbah, a big khutbah. Everybody will have their own khutbah in their camps, right? But there's also a major khutbah which is done by like the Mufti of Saudi Arabia at the big masjid, which is Masjid Namira. Yeah, Masjid Namira is a huge masjid again. Part of it is within the bounds of Arafah, and part of it is outside of Arafah. And again, a lot of people who don't have tents and don't have groups, that's kind of where they stay. So it's kind of like the Masjid Khayf equivalent in Arafah. So there's a khutbah there. It's in Arabic, and some people like to go there. But again, if you're with a group, just stick with your group, and your sheikh or the leader of your group will give a khutbah. That is the sunnah on the day of Arafah, is after Zawal, like before Dhuhr, before you pray Dhuhr, before you combine Dhuhr and Asr, the imam will get up and give a khutbah. Right? We'll give a khutbah, and then you pray Dhuhr. You'll combine and shorten Dhuhr and Asr. All right. So that's in short, just like the landscape of Arafah. We'll talk about the actual acts of Arafah in a few moments. All right. I want to talk just about a few other places that you might want to be aware of when you're in Mecca. One of them would be so we spoke about the Baqi' graveyard, right? In Medina, that's where many of the companions are buried. In Mecca, there is a graveyard known as Al-Mu'alla, right? Al-Mu'alla graveyard. And that's where Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha is buried, right? So it's actually, and if your group and packages and things are different, but you guys might have a Mecca tour, and that's part of the Mecca tour. They'll take you to go see the graveyard, and then you can go and do what we do when we go to graves and make the dua for the people in the grave, including Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha. السلام عليكم أهل ديار قوم المؤمنين وإنا إن شاء الله بكم لاحقون نسأل الله لنا ولكم العافية. We make that dua. Alright, so that's somewhere that probably will be part of the tour of Mecca. Another place is Jabal al-Nur. Right? Jabal al-Nur is, what happened to Jabal al-Nur? What? Yes, so the cave of Hira, right? Where the Prophet ﷺ first received his revelation, is in Jabal al-Nur. Okay? And you'll see it, and people go there, and people go and they climb all the way to the top. It takes like, an hour and a half or something to climb all the way to the top. They allow you. It's a very small cave. And again, if you go on the Mecca tour, they'll point it out to you. And if you want to go see it for yourself, you can grab any taxi, any cab, and say, I want to go to Jabal al-Nur. Right? There's also Jabal al-Thawr. What is Jabal al-Thawr? Does anybody know?
That's where the big Prophet was getting with
Yeah, so that's where, right? That's where the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr, when they were going for the hijrah, right? When they were going to make hijrah, and that's where they hid to avoid the people of Quraysh who were looking for them, right? That's where they hid from the people of Quraysh, and that's where Mitaqayn, the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anha, was bringing them food and kind of letting them know what the situation was and if they were looking for them and that kind of thing. So that's also considered part of the Mecca tour as well. All right, so I just want to point out some spots in Mecca that you might want to go see outside of the days of Hajj. All right, so now I want to kind of circle back to number 4, which are the mahrurat al-ihram, the invalidators or the nullifiers of the ihram. So let me talk first about the fidya, okay? Because for the invalidators, right? For each of the invalidators, there is a fidya. Some of them, there is a harsh fidya. Some of them, there's no fidya. Some of them, the fidya is substituting for whatever it is that you took. And everything else has the fidya that we spoke about. It's just the one sacrifice. So certain things that are mahrurat in ihram, certain things that you shouldn't do. Marriage, for example. While a person is in the state of ihram, a person should not get married, should not do the contract of marriage while they are in the state of ihram. Likewise, a person should not engage in khitbah, right? Which is communicating with the family or engaging in marriage talks while in a state of ihram. These are things that are considered mahdurat of ihram. They don't nullify, they don't invalidate anything, but they are things that you cannot do, and there's no fidya for it. It's impermissible. Okay?
This invalidated, well, somebody who get married or propose, this wipes your hajj out.
No, it does not wipe out your hajj, but the nikah is not valid. Okay? The nikah would not be valid. And by mahdurat, basically what I mean by invalidated, it doesn't mean like your hajj is wiped out. It means that basically you have to pay the fidya. Right? And we spoke about many of the things already. I'm just going to reiterate a couple of these things. And one question that you might ask is, what if I make more than one mistake, or I engage in more than one of these things, which are considered the mahdurat of the ihram? And there is a fidya for each and every single one of those things. Right? So, for example, if a person, one of the things that you cannot do is cover, for a man, you cannot cover your head. Right? You cannot cover your head. It's like we said for women earlier, not covering their face, right? You cannot cover your head. So for a man, like even whether it's clothing or even when you're sleeping, you should not cover your head. Right? If it's done by accident, then that's okay, right? But you should not go to sleep like actually cover your head. Some people do that. Some people sleep that way. You should not cover your head. So that's considered a mahdurat al-ihram. Obviously for women, the head's already covered, right? So there's no issue, there's no mahdur with that. But covering the face is what's impermissible. Another mahdur, which again, something that necessitates a fidya, is the use of a perfume, right? For both men and women. Right? So not only is this like colognes and perfumes, but also scented shampoos, scented body wash, scented lotions and things like that should not be used. Everything that you buy or purchase for the days of ihram should be things which are odorless and scentless, right? Even things as little as as minor as your toothpaste. Okay. Yeah, again, same thing. Alright, so all these things should be scentless. Alright? And pretty much all these things you can buy them scentless. Alright? So perfume and cologne, it can be used before you enter into the state of ihram. Right? And this is what the Prophet ﷺ used to do, and Aisha used to do this for him. But on your body and not on your garment. Right? So you can't like spray up your garment, right? And say, okay, this is gonna last me, 2 or 3 days, right? And you can do it for your body, as Prophet ﷺ used to do, and his wife Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha used to do this for him. He would spray his body, and that would be the extent of it. Clothing, like we said, for a woman, the hadith of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, I'll just read it. The Prophet said, when he was asked by Ibn Umar reports the hadith, and the Prophet says, what garments can a muhrim wear? So the Prophet responded, he said he cannot wear a long shirt, a turban, a hooded cloak, trousers, leather socks, nor any garment that has been perfumed with saffron or washd. Right? So that's kind of the hadith, right? And really, like we spoke about before, is we do not, is for men, again, for men, in the state of ihram, you do not wear anything that takes the shape of your body, right? So socks, boxers, t-shirts, tank tops, hats, all these things which conform to a part of your body is not what you wear. This here, it's simple. It's an izar. Many people wear this at home, right? Ma'wis, right? Same thing. If you know how to wear ma'wis, you know how to put this on, right? but in Arabic it's known as an izar, a lower garment. It does not confine to your body. And again, like I said earlier, you don't wear like a t-shirt or box, nothing under this, right? So practice. All right. Again, another mahrur of ihram, and these are things that really, I mean, to us, they're not like really that relevant. You're not going to go there and hunt or anything like that. But if a person, another mahrur of ihram is like, you cannot hunt game in the boundaries of the haram. And this is less about Hajj itself and more about being within the bounds of the haram. And if you were to like go hunting and you kill an animal, your fidya would be to substitute that animal. Pretty much purchase or pay for whatever that animal is worth. All right, and the biggest mahdur and the only one that would totally invalidate a person's hajj would be sex. And if a person were to engage in this, it would be, first of all, it would be required to make tawbah. It would invalidate their hajj. They would still have to complete their hajj. They'd have to make it up next year. And they'd have to sacrifice not a sheep, not a goat, not a cow, but a camel. Right? Camels are not cheap. I know camels, I know in Mecca they go for like at least like $5,000. Right? So.
That's the minimum?
Huh?
Minimum.
Minimum, yeah. That's the minimum. That's like a poor man's camel, right? So that's and that's why again when it comes to the hadi, when a person is like sacrificing, you have option to sacrifice like a goat or a camel, and that's why 7 people were sharing it. So if you opt to say, we want to do a cow, or even for udhiyah as well, right? Even for those of us who are not making hajj for the udhiyah, the qurbani, right? You can you take the value or whatever it's going to cost to sacrifice a cow or a goat, a cow, excuse me, or a camel or she camel, and you divide that by 7, and 7 people can fulfill their obligation through that one camel. Right. So that's the only mahrur that would totally invalidate the hajj. Everything else, you are able to make it up with a fidya. The fidyatun, again, min siyamin or sadaqatin or nusuk.
So does everything else doesn't invalidate hajj, but does it take you out of ihram?
Wow. So, for example, I'll give you an example, right? So, clothing, for example, right? Say you passed the miqat and you're still in street clothes. Okay? You're still in street clothes. You can make your intention, right? But if you are coming from outside of the miqat, right? If you're coming from, even if you're coming from Riyadh, right? And you're coming into Mecca and you're coming and your intention is to make Umrah and Hajj. And you pass the miqat and you're still in street clothes, then you would have to sacrifice. Right? You would have to sacrifice. But it does not, none of these things will take you out of the state of ihram. Even for the things that would invalidate it, you would still have to complete your Hajj. Right? That would just be considered, a fawat. You would complete your Hajj. Sometimes there are situations where a person, and this is something that could, it could happen. It's possible that a person is planning to go for Hajj, right? And I hope this doesn't happen to anybody, but it does happen. For one reason or another, they go and they're not able to make it. They've made the intention and they're on their way to go make Hajj, and something happens, and either they're stopped at the airport or just something politics, and you can't Saudi Arabia disbands your country or something like that. Anything can happen. If a person is in a state of ihram, then this would be something which is known as hisan. And this person, they would go back, but before they go back, they would make tahallul, right? And they would just cut or shave, trim or shave their hair, make sure that they sacrifice, and then go back home. Right? So if there's some barrier right, between them and actually fulfilling this obligation. And then there's a dua, and it's on the one-pager. In habasani habis, فَمَحَلِّ حَيْثُ habasani. Right? If there's something that prevents me from making it all the way, then I'll stop, and I'll make tahallul, right, from wherever I am. And you only put this condition, this qualifier, if you're anticipating, right, you know there's, and this, this is something especially, in times of instability and war and things like this, like you don't know what's going to happen, then you say like, okay, in habasani habis from habasani. If something prevents me from making it, then I'll stop wherever I am and I'll just go back. And this qualifier should be used if you feel that if there is a likelihood that something will prevent you from making it to the Hajj. Alright, so now I want to talk about the concept of tawaf. Okay? And we're almost there. We have a little bit more, inshallah, and then we're done with like Hajj, Hajj theory, and then we'll take all of these concepts and we'll roll it up and we'll actually go through day, and we'll start and we'll say, okay, day 8, day 9, day 10, what do you do? And then that's where we'll just kind of open it up for questions. Alright, so, tawaf, what are some of the conditions for tawaf? Alright, well, what if you're just making a tawaf, it's like one of the regular days and you want to, right, the first thing, just an intention, right? Wudu is pure, you have to be in a state of purity, right? You cannot be in major or minor impurity. You make it your intention, obviously. Your awrah is covered, right? Your awrah is covered. The tawaf is, as we said earlier, 7 circuits, right? 7 circuits around the Kaaba, and you start with Hajar al-Aswad, right? With the black stone. And you'll see there's kind of like a green light which aligns with Al-Hajar al-Aswad, and you'll see where people line up. It's very easy to recognize where Al-Hajar al-Aswad is. That's where it starts. So if you start your tawaf before that, or after that, you wouldn't count that first circuit. You count the first circuit where you start from Al-Hajar al-Aswad, all right? And you're going counterclockwise, right? And one of the things that when they talk about why is it counterclockwise versus clockwise, some of the scholars like just talk about like more the deeper spiritual issues of it is like your left side is your heart is closer to the Kaaba. That's like some of the when they talk about some of the wisdoms behind you going clockwise versus counterclockwise is kind of like that attachment, right? And keeping your heart as close as possible to the Kaaba, to the house of Allah. Secondly is, another thing is there's no breaks, right? So if there is a break, and again, if there's a minor break, like you stop for like a drink of water or something like this, it's fine. But like we spoke about earlier, it's like if you leave, you go back to your hotel, or you go to make wudu or anything like that, then you would begin from one, right? You would reset your tawaf. You have to circuit the entire Kaaba, right? And it has to be done at the masjid, right? So the circuiting of the Kaaba has to be done at the actual masjid. So it cannot be done like somewhere outside, right? Where even if you're outside, it will never get so crowded that you make a tawaf like outside. You'll always be within the actual masjid, right? And obviously, the further that you get away, the longer each circuit is. It can be from being a 6-minute circuit to a 30-minute, right? It just depends on how crowded it is and how far away from the Kaaba that you are. So some of the sunnahs of tawaf is that after, like we spoke about earlier, after you make tawaf, that you drink Zamzam to your fill. Okay? That you drink Zamzam to your fill. The Raml that we talked about earlier, like that, that light jog around the Kaaba when you're doing tawaf, this is only for the tawaf of Umrah, right? So there's not only two types, but there's two initial types of tawaf that you make when you get into Mecca, right? No matter what. Either you make a tawaf al-qudum, where it's like your first tawaf, like your tawaf for entering into Mecca, even if you're not planning to make Umrah right then and there. Right? Even if your intention is you're not coming to make Umrah, you're doing Ifrad, you're only making Hajj, right? You would go and make Tawaf al-Qudum. Also, if you're making the Tawaf al-Umrah, you would do Ramla as well. Only in those two situations would you actually do Ramla, which is that light jog. So Tawaf al-Ifada, Tawaf al-Wada', all the other Tawafs that you're going to do, you are not supposed to make Ramla. Alright? And then also, if you're still wearing the garment, right, you should keep your right shoulder exposed, right? And that is also, to allow you movement. All right, so the tawafs there's tawaf al-Qudum, right? Which if you're making the tawaf for Umrah, you don't need to make tawaf al-Qudum. So most of you here are making Umrah, so you don't even have to worry about tawaf al-Qudum. This is for those who are not making Umrah. There's tawaf of Umrah, right? That's number 2. There is tawaf al-Ifada, which is the one which is a pillar of Hajj. There's tawaf al-Wada', which is the farewell tawaf, which is actually a wajib, as we spoke about, right? And you can combine it. You can combine your intention. If you have not made tawaf al-Ifada yet and you're getting ready to leave Mecca, you can combine your intention for tawaf al-Ifada and tawaf al-Wada'. Just turn it into one tawaf and leave. And again, tawaf al-Ifada does not have to be done on day 10. Remember this. It can be done on day 11, it can be done on day 12, it can be done on day 13, and it can even be done after that. Just remember that you are still not in a state of tahallul, right? You have not entirely exited the state of ihram. Alright? And then there's just the regular tawaf. The tawaf is like the tahiyyah for the masjid, so that anytime you come in, if you get a chance, go and make tawaf. And you're not going to have many chances, so whenever you can, go and try and make tawaf at the masjid. And for every tawaf, again, those 2 rak'ahs behind the maqam of Ibrahim.